Good morning, Western Washington, and happy Wednesday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for the next couple of days here, including the potential Puget Sound area snowstorm that could be coming in this evening here, and actually could be coming in a little bit sooner than expected. We're starting here with the satellite imagery. It is about 11:30 a.m. as I'm filming this. You can see our low pressure system offshore here, and you can see that it's starting to push some bands of moisture north into the Puget Sound area, and you can see when we transition over to the radar, you see this low spinning offshore, and you can see it's pushing this band of snow up toward Olympia right there. Places like Centralia, Chehalis, and Olympia are starting to receive some snow right now. And actually, I picked out a couple traffic camera images here. You can see this is Maytown on I-5 there. That's a few miles south of Tumwater, and you can see it hasn't been snowing for that long. Temperature's about 34 degrees, and you got snow accumulating on the side of the freeway there and definitely on the grass. And here is I-5 at Custer Way in southern parts of Olympia there near Tumwater, and you can see that the snow is starting to mix in there as well. When we take a look at the current temperatures here, as of 11:26 a.m., you can see the areas where that snow band is are getting colder. You can see right there, 34 in Olympia, the airport there is reporting light snow, and you can see also down toward Centralia and Chehalis, you have some temperatures in the low 30s. Taking a look up north here toward the Puget Sound area, you can see that Tacoma and Kent and SeaTac and up towards Seattle are in the 35 to 38 degree range. So once snow starts falling, it will take a little bit for it to start sticking and get that temperature down enough. But as we go up north past Everett, up toward the northern parts of Western Washington, you can see where that Arctic outflow is. You can see places on Whidbey Island on the northern Strait of Juan de Fuca there. A lot of them, especially Everett northward there, are below freezing still, or right at freezing. And then you can see where that Fraser outflow is a lot stronger there across the San Juan Islands, Skagit County, and then Bellingham northward there toward the Canadian border where temperatures are still in the 20s. Take a look at Linden there, about 23 degrees still at 11:30 a.m. So let's take a look at kind of what we're expecting with this system. So you can see this is the European model. We're looking at simulated precipitation there at 1 p.m. You can see that it shows snow starting to make its way, snow with some areas of rain mixed in, starting to make their way into the area around 1 p.m. So this is happening a little bit earlier than expected. You can see we get rain-snow mix continuing through about 4 p.m. before some heavier banding sets up across the region, really from Shelton and Hoquiam over toward Seattle and the metro area there. And then you get this heavy snow band setting up over parts of western Washington into early Thursday morning, continuing potentially through midday Thursday before it tapers off. And then as we go off into the extended forecast, we remain dry on Friday. And then our next system approaches the area Friday night into Saturday morning, potentially bringing another round of snow with some areas of lower elevation rain. It's going to be pretty marginal here into western Washington through Saturday into Saturday night with some rain-snow mix for the lowlands as well. And then some of those showers could linger on towards Sunday. And then as we go into next week, things continue to get interesting. You can see we will be dry part of next week. And then as we go toward Thursday and Friday, we remain dry, but we're going to be cold. And as we go into next weekend, there is a potential for more snowy systems. And even some other models are showing potential for that around midweek next week. So bottom line, the cold really isn't going anywhere, and the snow isn't either. But let's focus back in on that snow band coming in tonight. So you can see as we go through this afternoon, the European model shows snow starting to stick around 1 to 4 p.m. there. You can see by about 7 p.m. near an inch in Seattle, and then you can see where this heavy band sets up through Thursday night. And you can see it doesn't show as much snow over the Puget Sound there because of slightly warmer temperatures, but that could change, and we'll take a look at a previous model run to show you how that could change. You can see, though, this shows a heavy band of snow essentially from Hoquiam all the way up toward Snoqualmie Pass and Stevens Pass there, with 2 to 4 inches of snow for Seattle, Federal Way toward Tacoma, and then some areas around I-405 a little bit eastward could potentially be looking at 4 to 5 plus inches of snow. Kitsap Peninsula down toward the Chehalis Gap there, Shelton and some of those areas as well could be looking at 3 to 5 inches. And then areas outside of this heavy snow band that are basically areas not between Everett and Olympia could be getting anywhere from a dusting to 1 inch of snow. If we take a look at the previous run of the European model, you can see it showed a slightly different thing as well, where this heavier band set up and kind of stayed over the Puget Sound area a little bit more, bringing amounts of 4 to 7 inches for parts of the metro, including Tacoma and Seattle, and up toward Everett and Bellevue, and some of the east side there, and then over toward Shelton and Bremerton and all of that. So it really, it's going to be probably one of these two things where we get enhanced snow somewhere across Puget Sound. As we saw this morning, there was that snow band that moved across the area that brought some snow up across parts of Seattle and Bellevue and Issaquah and caused school closures and some major collisions on I-405, and the forecast models did not really pick that up at all. So this system is really going to be a lot of nowcasting, which is looking at the radar and seeing what that is showing the snow is going to do. And then you can see here, we're going to take a look at the simulated radar on these high-resolution forecasts, and you can see the NAM here is starting to pick up. It picked up some snow moving through this morning, but it didn't have the timing very good on it. As we go right here, this is about noon on both of these forecasts. You can see they're trying to pick up some of this snow moving into the area, but it's not really reflecting what we see on radar. You can see it could potentially start as rain in the lowlands before becoming a little bit more snowy, and you can see the NAM has a lot more of that banding staying over the region here. As you can see, I'm highlighting that with my cursor, versus the HRR, which just has a lot of things moving through pretty quickly. The NAM keeps that snow in the area through, you can see that snow finally tapers off on the NAM between Seattle and Tacoma around 8 to 9 a.m. tomorrow. So taking a look at the snow accumulations on these models, you can see the high-resolution rapid refresh here on the right is probably not going to happen. I mean, this shows no snow basically from Seattle to Olympia, only about an inch in Seattle and an inch in Everett, and just is really kind of not reflecting what we've seen earlier today as well. The NAM model here on the left shows a different scenario where you're looking at 2 to 4 inches for Olympia, the Kitsap Peninsula, out towards Shelton there, and then the Puget Sound area likely getting 1 to 3 inches in this forecast. But this forecast this morning did not pick up the snow band that moved through that caused some of those collisions and school closures. So again, this system could definitely overperform for some parts of western Washington, and where that is will kind of remain to be seen here over the next few hours. One thing I did want to mention is that anything that falls will definitely freeze overnight. We won't get all that warm tomorrow, only in the mid-30s, so not everything will melt. And then take a look at Friday morning. This is minimum temperature Friday morning here on the European model. For western Washington, you can see areas from, say, Tacoma southward toward Olympia and down the I-5 corridor there could reach the low to mid-20s there. Even areas on the coast could be in the mid-20s. Hoquiam showing up there in the upper teens. And then take a look at from Tacoma northward through Seattle and then up the I-5 corridor there toward Bellingham, potentially in the upper teens to low 20s. For Seattle, Federal Way, Auburn, Kent, Renton, Bellevue, up by Woodinville and Duval there, and then Everett showing up at 20. You get some cold parts of Snohomish County like Arlington where temperatures around like 11 degrees there. And then you can even see parts of Skagit County getting in the mid-teens as well as Whatcom County. So Friday morning is going to be very, very cold. You can see mountain areas like Snoqualmie Pass, Stevens Pass, Leavenworth could be in the range of 0 to 5 degrees. Some below zero temperatures are possible as well in the mountains in the Cascades there, especially some of the valleys. So Friday morning is definitely going to be the coldest morning of the season, and we'll see if that remains our coldest morning of the year possibly. There is a chance that we get colder over the next couple weeks with some of these this continued cold pattern coming up. So stay tuned for more information on that over the next few videos. And we're going to have a very dynamic situation going on today. So the best way to stay tuned on this is to follow me on Blue Sky, on Twitter, and on the Western Washington Weather Facebook group. And of course, subscribe to me here on YouTube, ring that notification bell as well, and like and share these videos. So stay tuned to my social media. We've got definitely an interesting snow event coming over the next few hours here into Thursday morning, and I will be sure to talk to you all then.